He thought the past was buried, until it started calling at 3 a.m. Ice in the Blood. Act 1. The Package That Should Not Exist. Korin lived alone. Completely alone. A small apartment. Gray walls. Windows that never let the light inside. A cold neighborhood. Cold, like him. He had no photos. No memories. Nothing that could speak his past aloud. Because his past was the reason he no longer slept. That night it rained. It rained as if the sky wanted to erase the whole city. Korin climbed the stairs. His wet boots left marks behind him. And then he saw it. A package. On his door. A soaked cardboard box. No name. No sender. No fingerprints. It looked like it had been waiting for him. Watching him. Korin picked it up. Entered. Locked the door. The lock clicked like a gunshot. He placed the box on the table. Opened it slowly. Inside, a phone. Old. Black. A cracked screen. A broken antenna. A model no one used anymore. A model he knew too well. Korin stared at it. Turned it in his hands. Nothing. No message. No note. No explanation. Only silence. The same silence that followed him everywhere. He left it on the table. Took a shower. Drank bitter tea. Checked old scars in the mirror. Tried to sleep. But at exactly 3 in the morning, the phone rang. A sharp ring. Metallic. Violent. Korin didn't answer. He just listened. The sound drilled into his head, as if someone wanted to open old wounds. The next night, it rang again. Same hour. 3 a.m. Exact. Precise. As if someone knew every second of his routine. The third night, Korin answered. He didn't say, hello. He didn't ask, who is this? He never asked questions first. He just breathed. A distorted voice answered. Distant. Inhuman. Cold. Korin, get up. Korin clenched his jaw. Put on the blue jacket. The one that belonged to your brother. Korin froze. Completely. That jacket was not just a jacket. It belonged to Drayton. His brother. His blood. His protector. Drayton had died years ago. In a brutal attack. One Korin never forgave himself for surviving. No one knew about the jacket. No one. The voice continued. Leave now. Go to the bridge. 3 blocks away. Something waits for you. The call ended. No goodbye. No static. No glitch. Korin inhaled. The night tightened around him. And he obeyed. Act 2. Instructions from the grave. The city was empty. Rain washed the streets with a thin, dirty fog. Korin walked without sound. His steps barely touched the ground. He looked like a ghost among other ghosts. He reached the bridge. No cars. No people. Only wind and darkness. Under the bridge, he found a small bag. Black. Sealed. He opened it. A key. Small. Shiny. And a folded note. He unfolded it. You know where it goes. Korin closed his fist. Yes. He knew. That key belonged to a storage unit he hadn't opened in years. A place he had locked to forget. A place that smelled of his past. He went straight there. Opened the metal door. Old air escaped like a dead sigh. He flipped the light on. There it was. A wooden box. Marked with gray tape. A name written on it. Drayton. Korin felt his throat tighten. That box held everything left of his brother. Letters. Objects. A broken watch. A family picture he swore never to see again. But there was something else. A white envelope. With his name. Korin. He opened it. Pulled out a note. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't the war. There was a traitor, and he is still alive. Korin felt a deep, freezing chill, one that came from inside, not outside. The phone rang. Again. 3 a.m. On the dot. Korin answered. Who are you? The voice replied. Lower. Colder. Someone who owes you a death. The call ended. Silence swallowed the room. Act 3. The Frozen Trail. He didn't sleep. He only waited. At 3 a.m. the phone rang again. Camden. Basement 3. Red door. Korin walked into the frozen night. The cold sliced his face like blades. The warehouse was abandoned. Dark. The basement smelled like rust, and damp concrete, and old violence. The red door was slightly open. Korin entered, and saw him. A man tied to a chair, bruised, barely breathing. When he lifted his head, Korin recognized him. Beckham, Drayton's friend. The man who claimed to be there the night Drayton died. The man who said it was an ambush. The man who said no one survived. Lies. Korin felt it instantly. The voice of the phone echoed inside him. Not the war. A traitor. Beckham sobbed, shaking. Korin, please, listen. I didn't. Korin raised his fist. The phone rang again. Do not kill him, the voice said. Not yet. Korin's teeth tightened. Why? A short silence. Then. Because he wasn't alone. Korin's pulse froze. Who else? The voice. From. Deadly. Your brother didn't die that night. They took him alive. Korin felt a blade cut his chest from the inside. Where is he? You'll get an address. Do not fail. The call ended. Korin left Beckham alive, screaming, begging, crying, and walked out, not once looking back. Act 4. What Remains of a Brother. The address pointed outside London. A building abandoned long ago. Concrete rotting. Windows shattered. A place that looked like it swallowed light. Korin entered. The wind howled through the empty hallways. He climbed the stairs. Floor 1. Floor 2. Floor 3. On the 4th floor, a door was open. Inside, a table, a chair, a weak lamp, and a cassette tape. A name written on it. Drayton. Korin's knees almost failed. He took the tape, placed it in the recorder. Static, then breathing. Hard, painful, and then a voice. Weak, tired, but unmistakable. Drayton. Korin, if you hear this, they already know who you are. The tape cut, and another voice entered. The voice of the phone. You're late. Korin turned. A silhouette stood in the doorway. Phil. Black. Shapeless. Korin stepped forward. The figure spoke. I handed him over. Your brother. Your family. All of them. And now, I hand you over. Korin didn't think. Didn't hesitate. He attacked. Final act. The ice breaks. The fight was savage. Cold. No words. Only violence. A knife flashed. Korin dodged. The blade scratched his neck. Drew blood. He grabbed a chair. Smashed it into the attacker. Wood cracked. Bodies slammed into walls. Korin grabbed the man by the collar. Dragged him under the lamp. And when he saw his face, everything froze. It was his uncle. His father's brother. The man who claimed he could do nothing. The man who vanished after the war. The real traitor. His uncle smiled. Blood in his teeth. Your brother screamed your name. Until his last breath. Korin didn't cry. Didn't shout. Didn't hesitate. He tightened his grip. and killed him.
Fast. Cold.
Final. Silence filled the room. Thick. Absolute. Korin picked up the tape. The recorder. Left the building. When he reached his apartment, the broken phone on the floor
Rang.
3 a.m. Exact. A dying device. A dying signal. But a final voice leaked through. This is not over. Korin closed his eyes. Exhaled slowly. No fear.
No doubt.
Because for a man with ice in his blood, revenge never ends.